We are back with another episode of Black and Audacious, where we talk about bold ideas, interview bold guests. That's coming, y'all. And we talk about pop culture and all the shenanigans that come with it. I'm your girl, Tawanda, and I'm here with my lovely Black and Audacious sisters, Ikate and Nakia.
What's up?
Hello. Back for another episode.
Yes, we back.
Yes.
I love it.
Back.
Yeah. It's like, you know,
I always love being with y'all. So.
I do too.
Yes.
So good to see y'all. What's the vibe? We always check in. So I want to know how y'all are doing since we last got together. How are y'all?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Actually, I just got back from Napa.
Bougie.
And I went with 13 other women. And of course you think about, okay, and I didn't know everyone either. So I'm just like, okay, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
What's going to be the vibe?
Yes.
The vibe was so good.
I love that.
Everyone was grown. Everyone was just in the moment. We were celebrating a friend. So it was just, everyone was in that celebratory mood.
I love that.
And we had a beautiful time.
Yes.
And I'm rested.
That's great.
And it was a great time. So I love the fact that I'm at a point in my life where I can spend time with other women and we're all on the same page.
I love it.
That's right.
So yes.
That's
group trips are not easy.
They're not easy.
So,
they're not easy.
And you gotta, once you find your tribe where you have a travel tribe, like that is just chef's kiss. So
be paying on time. Yes. Everybody knows the dates.
There was one flight delay for one person, but she made it.
Yeah.
And she showed up in good spirits, which is always good. Because, I showed up late to an event that we all went together. And I was like, I was hot. I was rushing. And I was just like, you know what? But I got it together.
I love it.
I got it together.
Your energy was good.
Yeah. So it's all about the energy. So it was a good trip. What about you?
Yes.
I'm feeling very sensational in the words of Future.
Sensational. That's not Future. That's Chris Brown. Sensational.
No, Future coined sensational. That is like one of the memes, like top memes of all time to me.
Oh, okay.
Y'all never seen that?
I've never seen it. It's not a top meme that I've never seen. That's all I've seen too. That's all I've seen too.
Okay. Well, I mean, yes, we know Chris Brown has sensation, but like the actual term sensational, like that, like Future did that.
Oh, that's
years ago.
Okay.
And
that's cute.
Instagram was on the horizon, but I'm feeling good. I'm getting back in my footing with like yoga.
Okay.
Oh,
so I'm feeling, I'm feeling really good about that. And I'm really trying to just continue to be consistent. So I'm feeling good.
That's your center.
Yes,
it's important for you to always just kind of bring that back into your life. So good.
It used to be in my phone as my professional zen. You recall? That's what it would say.
I love it.
You still are.
Yes.
What about you, Tawanda?
I'm good. I had some medical things go on this past week, but they've been helpful for me.
Okay.
So we talked a while back about like taking care of yourself, going to the doctors, taking care of yourself, checking on things. So I'm still on that wellness tip for myself.
Okay.
Like that is a big thing for me this year. And so I am well.
Good. Good.
Well and good.
Love to see on the men's. Yes, absolutely.
Well, let's get into these topics, y'all.
Okay.
Because
we got a lot to cover.
There's a lot going on.
There is.
A lot of things that are, shall we say, sacred?
Very sacred.
Sacred with a C though. Okay.
Very sacred.
Is Beyoncé too sacred? Beyoncé, she launched her Rebirth of Renaissance that happened. And in that brand rollout, she has launched perfume. She's recently launched her hairline. And the fodder around these new business endeavors for her, or the rebirth of some of them, because she's done fragrance before, is, well, her personal brand ain't hitting. Like every time she puts something out, it flops. She came
okay. Let's be.
Hold on.
Okay.
Come on now.
Simmer.
Okay.
Okay. So y'all, just so y'all know, y'all already know though, because Akate said it. She is the president of the Beehive. So yeah,
no Beyonce.
No slander.
Slander will be tolerated.
Can't be checked.
Yeah,
can't be checked.
I have lots to say about this. So
Beyonce
keep it cute.
I believe Beyonce takes L's. right? But when she takes them, people say it's Ivy Park. People say it's House of Darion. People say it's those other celebrity fragrances she launched a while back, which were semi okay. But now this new hair care line, people are like, we've never seen Beyonce's hair. I believe we have, but people say they haven't. So why would I invest into her hair care line? They say her personal brand does not resonate like a Rihanna when Rihanna launched Fenty or Savage, because Rihanna sells that sex appeal and it bleeds through her other brands and people buy in and they're doing very well. They have gotten her to billionaire status. We know Beyonce's a billionaire, okay? We know she has the B. B stands for bands, Beyonce and billions, okay?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So I think that doesn't matter. Like, we still show up. Beyonce is a business woman.
Yeah.
And these endeavors are going to happen. They make the money that they make and she moves on.
Yeah.
But some people don't like that. So I'll stop there.
Okay.
Go ahead, because I'm going to have the last word.
Oh, here we go.
I will have the last word.
Okay, well, you know what? I will preface before I go into this by saying that, listen, Beyonce is a queen. She's amazing. She is brilliant on all things. I am not a part of the Beehive, as you all know, but we did actually go to the Renaissance concert together in Miami last year. Had a blast. I had a newfound love for Beyonce. So if we talk about personal branding, like you mentioned Rihanna, maybe. I mean, you know, for me, like personal branding is all about personality.
Ooh.
Okay, like that is the operative word here. And when you think about, and we're not comparing, right? But you mentioned Rihanna in the conversation. When you think about Rihanna, right, from the very start of her career, as she was building her brand, she's always been authentically her, the bad gal, right? Like she's always just shown up as like that raw and relatable. A girl's girl, relatable, and that bleeds through all of the brands that she's been able to create. So she's created an affinity around that because she was able to really be authentically her. And Beyonce, like, let's really, from the start of Destiny's Child, and I always felt like there was a block there in terms of really knowing who she truly is as a person, right? Like, I really didn't start to really see the personality of Beyonce really until, like, honestly, Renaissance. Like, I feel like she's like in her, she's in her real, like, I made it, I'm in my bag. She's always made it, but I feel like she's able to really be the raw Houston girl, like, that she is. And I feel like that from a personal branding standpoint, that's probably where I feel like it doesn't feel as authentic, just based on, I haven't really been able to connect with her because I don't really know her like that. I feel like I know her now, like I can relate to her now because she's shown a different side of her, like the real Southern girl, like, so I feel like that kind of aligns too with the personal branding aspect of it. And like, I've never been able to really see her true personality come throughout the duration of her career. I love her though, and this may be unpopular belief or opinion because I don't want the Beehive to come after me. I know it's gonna be like bees.
Yes,
in the comments.
But that's just how I feel. That's why I kind of resonate more with Rihanna, because I feel like she just like shows up authentically her, like, and I love that.
No, and that's fine. That's a fair assessment. It's very fair. But I want to make sure that Fenty is not all of that.
Ooh.
And I say this when I say Fenty. Fenty, I mean, if you think about the lingerie to me is trash.
Ugh.
That's just
I never tried it, so I don't know.
That's right. That's right. But and you're a Rihanna fan, and you never tried it because you didn't see something that you were like, oh my God, I gotta have it. But I digress. I'm not going to talk about Rihanna. This is about Beyonce. Beyonce was protected very early on.
Yeah.
She was in a bubble, had her father as her manager, very protected. So Beyonce's personality wasn't going to be on Front Street.
Yeah.
It's very true.
A lot of what Rihanna showed when you talk about authenticity, a lot of that was trauma. We know her from the Chris Brown situation, and people started resonating with her. I mean, I remember a long time ago, Rihanna was like on Twitter talking about, I'm in a hotel room in the dark by myself. She didn't have the tribe that she has around her now. Beyonce's always had that, someone around her protecting her. So no, you did not get to see her personality. But I can say the same thing for a lot of celebrities pre-social media. How did we get to know them and know, like, connect with their personal brand?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, there's been some misses. I'm not going to say that everything that, you know, Beyonce created has been like the best. House of Darion was something that her mother, a venture that her mother was like designing clothes. Didn't resonate with the general public. I get it. Fragrances, those are always going to be hit or miss. But with this new line that they spent 6 years developing with a very credible company, I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people because it was thoughtful.
Yeah.
And have we seen Beyonce's hair? Yes.
We have.
I think that a lot of the times we think, oh, she's a celebrity, all she wears is wigs.
Yeah.
She does sometimes. She can't go out there sweating her hair out and then everyone talks about, that's the talking point of the night. Oh, you know, Beyonce's hair was sweat out. No, she does wear what? She's an entertainer.
You know what? When you say that, when that hair got caught in the fan, that had to be her hair. Because something would
when did that happen?
During one of her
she
tours.
got close to the fan and got
Oh Lord.
And I think that was her hair. Now that I'm thinking.
But Cécred, I think, is sacred to them.
Yeah.
And I think that there was research done. I think that the rollout right now, they're doing a lot of, like, you know, experiences with influencers and celebrities and bringing people in. Tina was actually doing people's hair in a salon.
I saw that.
I know she did
that.
Yeah.
Beyonce grew up in a salon.
Yeah.
So it does.
And even the content, like, they're pushing out on Instagram, like I love, like, I think she did the cover story of Essence.
Yes.
Yeah, like,
beautiful.
just kind of looking back at how Miss Tina was, you know, in her home, like in the back of their home doing hair, and built a whole hair salon. I love that.
Yes.
That resonates with us as, like, being
Black women,
you know, young women growing up in the, you know, the 80s and the 70s and, like, those types of, you know, things that we experience.
Those environments are so sacred to us.
Yeah.
So for me, this is going to be, I think, a very fruitful venture.
I hope so.
For Beyonce and her mom. And I'm going to purchase a collection. And I'm going to give a review. I'm going to give some feedback on a future
You should
episode.
tell us how
you should, because there's already some reviews up. And I'm like,
what are they saying? What's tea?
They're like sponsors. So I want to see, like, the real reviews start to come in. I really do.
Yeah.
And then also, like, the product does have some patent pending ingredients. So they really did, to your point, like, take it serious. And I think they're doing something with, like, actual cosmetologists and things like that to make it more of a professional line as well. So shout out to Beyonce. Like, what does it take to build a celebrity brand? I think it's just, we have to stop trying to get so personal all the time. Like, we don't know everybody's everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why we always have to make those connections. I know it's important, but it's like,
it's important because I think that's where the longevity comes into play.
Yeah.
But I think when you're trying to really establish yourself and develop this personal brand, there has to be some thoughtfulness going into it, and not always thinking that my name is going to sell something alone.
Yeah.
So I think that they've taken the right approach this time. I think some of her other ventures might have been rushed.
Yeah.
And probably passion projects too.
Yeah.
But I think this one is going to really resonate with a large audience because it's for all hair types. It's not just for Black women. It's for all hair types.
And why would they say Ivy Park flop? Like, anytime she does, like, a drop, I've never able to get any sort of, like...
That's with Adidas. But when she was Ivy Park independent, it was a little bit of a struggle.
Gotcha.
But no, I don't even see people wearing Ivy Park. Have you seen somebody wearing Ivy Park?
I have.
I don't see people wearing it. I don't.
I see people wear it once it drops.
Yeah.
And it's more of like, but I don't see people
Instagram,
wearing it like day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but she has some cute stuff in that.
Yeah,
that
the
line,
roots bring that story.
Well, Cécred, I'm wishing nothing but the best for Beyonce and Tina, because I think it's going to be a great venture that's going to have some longevity.
Speaking of Miss Tina, did y'all see that meme that's going around where Beyonce? So I guess someone like paparazzi was taking like a video, and Beyonce's looking like and then Miss Tina's given.
Oh,
yes. She's
resting
like,
yes.
pipe
face,
down.
like,
They were going.
She's protective. She's very protective of her girls, and that's including
that
her
face,
grandchildren as well.
it's always just snatched. Okay,
Yeah,
she
it
looks
is
good.
All right, so we can move on to the next topic. So this one is really interesting because Tawanda, this is something that you brought to my attention. I don't know if it was.
Yeah, it was the first to me.
Oh
but,
wow.
Yeah.
So you kind of give us the backstory on this particular topic.
When was the last time you've watched 50 of something? 50?
Absolutely never.
Well, my first time was Risa Tisa.
Did you really?
This TikTok user, I think it's Risa Tisa, Reese Teese, whatever it is, she has us hooked. This woman has gone viral on TikTok, amassing over 20.5 million views by sharing a 50-part series about her life with her ex-husband, who was a pathological liar and scammer.
So this is the reason why this did not show up in my algorithm on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about the bullshit because I watched the first couple of seconds of this video and I was just like, take your trauma. Do you not have any friends or family
or a therapist
that you can talk to about this? Because for me, I'm not into doom and gloom.
Yeah.
I don't live in that world of doom and gloom. And as soon as she started talking, I was just like, you know what? This is not for TikTok. I'm a believer in that. Like bringing trauma to a social media platform, to me, it's like you're like literally seeking attention.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to it.
But how much did she make from it though?
$84,000.
Enough to buy the Mercedes that she was looking for. But this is the BMW that she was looking for. But this is my thing. I think that in all of that, I have a bunch of thoughts. One, I found it because it was trending. Two, I got to part 5 and I was like, what is going on? Like, why are we even at part 5 with what has already transpired? And then as I got to part 50 eventually,
you watched all 50 of them?
Did you have time?
Well, she has a playlist and you kind of can listen to it like a podcast. So you just like listening.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a playlist on TikTok. And then some people even got really audacious with it and made a YouTube video, which it amounts to like 4 hours of time. So you could just go all the way through. If you don't want to do it on TikTok, you can do it on YouTube.
That is I mean, listen, shout out to her. Shout out to you for spending all that time because my time is precious. I can get through the first part. I'm very much aligned with what Akate said. Like, it's not for me.
Yes.
Because I'm not subscribing to like telling all my business like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like like our society is so nosy. Like for her to
button in, this is about her coming to it and her making it her story to tell.
No, that's true.
And I think that when you look at the ingredients of the situation, it was during COVID, which I feel like was the upside down. Like when I look back at it, I'm like, where were we? What was going on? What was happening? So many crazy things happened. And some of the lies he told, he could run with them a little bit because of COVID, because of the things that were happening. He could say like, oh, that's going to take time. And so I think also in that there's pressure on women to be coupled. A lot of the decisions she made was based on her faith, which is absolutely A-okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was just a lot of elements to it. I wouldn't have went that far. I wouldn't have had 50 episodes, but a lot of women do. This is like a very tell as old as time. She just did it on TikTok. And I think what I learned from all of it is the power of just storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to hook people in, because we hear the message about it being, everyone has short attention spans. You got to get it in. People are watching 4 hours of this woman tell her story.
Well,
she did it in order. She did it clear. I mean, everything was laid out.
While I didn't watch, I couldn't get past part 1. I did appreciate the layers and the context and the depth that she went into.
Organized.
Every sort of like point that she made. I would appreciate that, but for me, it's just like it doesn't resonate with me because it's not.
So you wouldn't put up with that.
This is my thing. This is my thing. Does she have another story?
What do you mean?
What's next?
Whether it's real or fake, that story
no, it's not even about being real or fake. It's like once you tell that, like what else do you have? Because if she has another story to tell, that's a 50-part series. You're messy to me.
Why does she need that? I don't even think you have to get that deep. Like, why does she need that? The story is what it is. I know Shonda Rhimes is probably in the inbox. It's like, why does she need anything else?
That's what I'm saying. She doesn't need anything else.
Doesn't.
I want it to end. I want it to stop. And I don't want any more
You
of
know
it.
what? I hope, sis. I hope like she has her moment right now. I hope it's just not a one and done. Like she can really, like to your point, if Shonda is in the DMs,
Shonda is like, girl, let's
really
do
hope that she's
this.
able to just take that and run with it and elevate and just be great. Shout out to Black women greatness. Okay, like
I'm with it, and I'm also with it. Like as a communicator, as someone who is in PR and in that realm. I think about how brands can learn from this. Like what brands are telling really, really great stories and bringing us in. It doesn't have to be 50 parts, but in our daily work, like I work in PR daily, media relations, those types of things, how are we really crafting a story that makes people turn to us and listen to what we have to say about our clients or ourselves in a really impactful way?
But this is the thing. It's all tied to trauma.
Well, hers is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even from so for me, no one is going to listen to a brand story
that's not traumatic.
That's not has some sort of drama element to it.
No, but think about it. Like when we do our like messaging workshops and things like that, one of the things that we always pull out is like, what is the challenge or the problem you're solving? Right? Because that is where we want to make sure that we're building your messaging around that. And that's going to resonate with people, based on whatever target audience they're going after. That's going to resonate with them. So think about it more so like that. Like, yeah, the trauma, but branding, like we're trying to figure out what the problem is that you're solving.
Also, too, we're always asking, what's your contrarian view to something?
We do.
Why do you think opposite of the status quo? That's a little bit of, I wouldn't say trauma, but it creates a little tension in the messaging and allows you to have a different perspective that people are attracted to.
But who is the hero in this story?
She is, because if she got $82,000 out of it, and maybe Shonda Rhimes on the other line, go ahead, girl.
Okay.
I mean, if she got out of it, eventually she said, "I'm still here."
I love it. I'm happy that she didn't. I didn't see the whole thing, but she didn't victimize herself.
She didn't. She took accountability.
So based on only the one part that I watched, because I was not going through all 50 parts. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a
it was a time.
That was
it was. I mean, it was interesting. I was like, okay. Speaking of, Black women again, like when a Black woman has certain standards. We recently learned about Kelly Rowland. She was actually supposed to go and host was it the Today Show? And she has some issues with her dressing room apparently. So let's get into that. Like what are your thoughts?
My thing is Kelly was not just going to be a guest, she was going to be a host as well.
Yeah.
There was 2 roles that she was playing for the Today Show. And when you ask someone to come on and participate, and not just in one capacity, but in 2, I feel like there's a level of just catering that you do to them, do for them. And I know Jennifer Lopez was on site as well. And unfortunately, they saw her as the bigger star. So they put her in the grander dressing room, and Kelly got something that was very subpar.
Yeah.
That was wrong. And I feel like Kelly and her team made a decision to say, you know what? I'm not going to be treated this way.
Exactly.
So we're leaving. And I can do nothing but applaud Kelly for that moment, because Kelly has had longevity. She is never been problematic.
Exactly.
And
most
I think
problematic.
Yes. And in that moment, she decided, you know what? I'm going to take care of me. And I know what I'm worth.
Yeah.
So goodbye, Today's Show. I'm out.
Yeah.
But on the end of that, Bethany Frankel of New York Housewives of New York fame swooped into the conversation, basically kind of saying like, you should be grateful you're there. Like, people have small dressing rooms, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, when a person has standards, let that be their standard. There's no give or pull for what you want.
Yeah.
Whether it's a bigger dressing room, a better job, a new car, whatever it is, like, don't make people feel bad for the decisions for themselves. And Bethany Frankel's always swooping in with something. It just irritated me, and I just had to make that point.
But you know what? It's just like, you talked about standards. And I think that as a society, we've gotten away from that.
Yeah.
Like having a sense of like certain standards in our lives. When you have standards, you're seen as bougie, kind of problematic. And there's always difficult to work with, sometimes combative, whatever that shows up as. It's interesting because when a Black woman does it, it's intensified.
Oh, yeah.
It's very much intensified. And now there's this narrative that's running around that Kelly thinks that she's more than what she should. Like, this is something that I always talk to like my family about. When we give something to someone, some of the things in the Black community, we're like, that's too much. That's too much.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you something. Say, for instance, I gave you, $10,000. No, don't. That's too much. Why is that too much?
Yeah.
You deserve this. And I think that Kelly is deserving of whatever accommodations she wanted for herself and her team.
Yeah.
She was deserving of that because she has literally worked since she was probably 14 and 15 years old, probably earlier than that. But from a superstar status, she has been that person.
And I think just too, like, I love Kelly. Like, from a branding standpoint, I always feel like she's been in the shadows in a sense. And, people always are trying her for some reason. Like, I don't understand,
They want to get a rise out of her.
Yeah. And she's always just like, she handles things with grace and, just so much like, when they go low, we go high, type of energy. So shout out to Kelly.
Shout out to Miss Rowland.
And yes, like, I agree with you. Like, Black women, it's always where, if we have a certain level of standards, like, it's too much.
Yeah,
like we're too much. We take up too much space. So yeah.
But just to kind of, wrap things up for this particular episode, we always go to Black businesses that we love.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we're highlighting those. And for me, my first experience with an interior designer was with this woman. Her name is Leah Alexander. And Leah came at a time when I was having my first child and I lost my mom all in the same year.
Oh, wow.
So Leah was very, very intentional about making sure that she was listening to me and taking care of me. And one of the things that I wanted for Shiloh's, room was a Banksy theme. I didn't want like this like kiddish type thing. I want this something for her to grow up in. So Leah Alexander, her company is called Beauty is Abundant. You can find her at beautyisabundant.com and on all social media platforms. But when I tell you this woman is brilliant, she's very patient, and she's a visionary.
Yeah.
And she makes and creates beautiful spaces. And you guys can actually go and see the work that she did for Shiloh's room, because we actually got her work featured in a couple of different magazines.
Yes. Come on, Shiloh's PR media.
So she does beautiful work, and anyone that's looking to create beautiful spaces within their home, I encourage them to reach out to Leah because she does amazing, amazing work.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
What you got, Nakia?
Well, I actually want to shout out Fawn Weaver, who is the CEO and founder of Uncle Nearest Distillery.
Yes.
That actually visited the distillery. It's in Shelbyville, Tennessee, a couple of years ago. And I was just blown away by just really the storytelling, how, she was able to really kind of just fold everything into, the history. And so, I want to shout her out because they're about to they're on the brink of unicorn status, and they're valued at $900 million.
Wow.
And fun fact about Fawn, she actually started her career as a PR professional. So she
of course.
Yeah, she had a PR
it.
agency. And so I've been following her for years, but when I saw that, I was like, wow, like, this is incredible. A Black woman built, this like from the ground up in terms of like, seeking out investors and really just building this amazing brand. So shout out to Fawn for about hitting unicorn status. Like,
I love
it's amazing.
I love
unicorn.
that.
Yeah.
What about you, Tawanda?
I have been on a somewhat of a journey to change my products over to more clean products, from like my makeup, my body wash, all the things. And I came across this company called Pretty Well Beauty. They are located in New York. I'm not sure where in New York, but they're located in New York. And it's Black owned. They have a lot of Black owned brands. They have an app. But it's just, if you're looking for hair care, facial creams, body care, wellness products like adaptogens and things like that, she has that there. And it's just a great site. So if you're looking for that, prettywellbeauty.com, and also that's their Instagram as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, we have wraps.
Yeah.
And we encourage our audience to make sure that they subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please
seek us out on Spotify, all the things podcast. We are there, and we'll be back to you guys soon.
Yes.
See you next time.
Bye.